Every leap in American history has needed breakthrough energy.
Ignition, liftoff.
Now, AI is here, and Chevron is working to power it. We're aiming to develop multi-gigawatt power plants near data centers, designed with future pathways to lower carbon intensity. AI gets the power it needs, communities get the jobs, and the grid stays strong. Powering AI today builds America's next superpower.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
No one should have to choose between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters through the Purple Leash Project, so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast, Nintendo News Daily. I'm your host, N64 Josh. We got a handful of news topics that we're going to be looking at, or headlines that we're going to be looking at, as well as just kind of camping out on the fact that we're getting one new NSO game, but I kind of wonder if we're not going to be getting more. And I also want to look at the handful of games that is kind of surprising we don't have yet. So that's what's in store for this episode of Nintendo News Daily. Let's jump into this. First thing this morning, I'm at the gym and I see tweets coming in from Nintendo saying Pikmin 4 is getting free content. Now I got an article from Nintendo Life up right here, and it says, surprise, Pikmin 4 is getting free content on Switch next month. And so, of course, I went and watched the videos. I wanted to see what was going on here. And basically, three things are being added to the game. Decor Pikmin. All right, originally seen in Pikmin Bloom smart device app, these curious Pikmin are marching their way to Pikmin 4. Decor Pikmin, like the name implies, are Pikmin that don a wind-up toy, a donut, a snow hat, and much more. I think I saw one that was also a ladybug. Decor Pikmin you gather in the new Pikmin 4 update can also be transferred to your squad in Pikmin Bloom, including some that are completely new. So, what I find interesting is Pikmin Bloom seems to get a fair amount of support. I wonder how many people are playing it. In fact, if you're seeing this or listening to this, either on Spotify, YouTube, let me know in the comments, even in the Discord, tweet at me, whatever. Do you play Pikmin Bloom on the regular? I think I have it on my phone, or I did it one time, but it's not something that I typically play. So I'm just curious if it's something that you guys pick up and play on the regular. Let me know. I never hear anybody talk about it. I mean, Cheesy would mention it every now and again. Maybe he still plays. I'm not really sure, but it's just interesting that this game continues to not only get support, but I see updates on it fairly regularly. Next up, you're going to be getting a field camera where you can take stylish photos of your character, your squad, and whatever you like with this new feature. Set the scene with various angles, hide characters, and decorate your pics with filters, frames, and stamps. The camera may even be the key to adding Decor Pikmin to your crew. So that's interesting. Lastly, new creature activity levels. Move at your own pace and enjoy the new relaxed mode where creatures won't attack you unless you attack them. Or kick things up a notch in the fiery fierce mode. These modes can be selected when starting a new game or changed at any point after the game's settings. And I saw some funny posts on X. I think Andre from Game Explain was like, they figured out a way to make this game easier. How? So apparently it's not a very difficult game. I finished 3, I believe, last year, but I've yet to finish 4. And I was hoping for a Switch 2 update, but that's not happening. At least not in November. This free update seems to be more about Pikmin Bloom. and making the game easier, but nothing about a Switch 2 upgrade path. Nothing. Nothing paid, nothing free. And a lot of the tweets I saw in the in the post from people were like, Switch 2 when? And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I love going back to some of these games that are in my backlog, but I'm like, I'd like to see them, fully uh like running at their best on Switch 2, even if it's just kind of the free updates like we saw in like Mario Odyssey and 3D World and New Super Mario Bros. U. Like, they don't have to be these major things, but just seeing a bit of um like getting up to that. So I think somebody said uh, you forgot half the frames, and that actually sent me. I'm like, they forgot half the frames. We want to get this game up to 60 FPS. So, yeah, kind of strange that didn't happen, but that's just where we're at right now. Well, I got to say, what's up? I see Sawyer is hanging out. Evan Sawyer, what's happening? Nady Nay, good to see you guys. We got quite a few people just lurking, so welcome on in, everybody. Moving along in the news here, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 topped the best-selling Switch games in September. So here we go. That's kind of interesting, considering they came out in October. Matt Piscatella said content, September 2025, top 10 best-selling premium games on Nintendo platforms. US dollar sales, physical and digital from digital data sharing publishers, excludes add-on content. Number 1, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 from Nintendo. Next is Final Fantasy Tactics. Number 3, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Number 4, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I know Nady Nay is rooting for that one. Next up, Story of Seasons. That's Super Mario Party Jamboree. EA Sports, Hogwarts, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and NBA 2K26. So there you go. That is your top selling. Just taking a look here. September 2025 top 10 best selling games on Nintendo platforms. Physical and full game digital from digital data sharing publishers, like I said. So we're not getting, Nintendo doesn't share, from my understanding, their digital sales. So this is that's why you will see, you may see some games that are higher up and wonder like, well, where's Mario Kart World? Well, if it's being sold as that bundle, it's not getting added to this list. And these kind of lists could potentially affect Pokemon Legends ZA as well if people are picking up that bundle. That's another thing to consider. So it's still pretty interesting that the pre-orders did so well, which I would assume this is across the board. If it's physical, Best Buy, Amazon, all major retailers and whatnot. It did so well that it was number 1 in the month before it even came out, which is just kind of crazy. So Nate says, I'm rooting for Crossworld's Nintendo Switch 2 version. Then I'll buy it. I hear you. I get it. That will be that'll be the way to go for sure. Well, some more news we got today, which not only got me excited about this game, but like kind of changed my mind about it a little bit. When I initially saw this one, I don't know that I fully understood like what they were trying to do, or like what the gameplay loop was, or is it just your traditional beat 'em up? And that is Marvel's Cosmic Invasion. And today they dropped another trailer that included Iron Man and Phoenix, and they showed quite a bit of gameplay. And they do have a full character list here. I'm looking at Nintendo Life again. It says they've got Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Storm, Phyla-Vale, I guess. Phyla-Vale. I'm not sure who that is. Venom, Nova, She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Silver Surfer, Beta Ray Bill, Black Panther, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Iron Man, and Phoenix. So it's a pretty extensive list. Watching this game, it looks like they took some of the coolest things from like Marvel versus Capcom, or some of those Capcom games, and it really impressed me. It really kind of changed. Not that I wasn't like on the fence necessarily. I'm like, oh, this game looks cool, but it just hadn't like. I'm like, yeah, and it's one I'll probably pick up because it's a beat 'em up and it's Marvel, so I love that. But I wasn't like overly like hyped for this. Seeing this last trailer, I'm like, okay, yeah, this has got me kind of pumped. This has got me kind of pumped. So the news on this one, not only are we getting Iron Man and Phoenix, but also that it's going to be coming out on for Switch and Switch 2 on December 1st, 2025. So it's just around the corner, honestly. Just around the corner. So we will be seeing this one soon, and I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Nady Nay says, I can't believe Josh has almost the same amount of hours in Pokemon ZA as Panty Party. Here we go. I would have no hours in Panty Party if it wasn't for you, Nate. That's for sure. That I have never touched that game without somebody buying a time slot for me to play it. So shout out to Nady Nay for that one. Yes, I've been putting some time into Pokemon Legends ZA. No question there. No question at all. So moving on to the news here. Metroid Prime Remastered almost had completely new cutscenes. But producer Kensuke Tanabe decided against it. Looking at the article from Nintendo Life, they've got some little blurbs here. It says, when the project first started, Retro proposed an idea regarding cutscenes that we create entirely new ones. The prototype cutscenes they presented was undeniably impressive with a high level of quality. However, I came to the decision to closely observe the cutscenes from the GameCube version and replicate them essentially as they were. The reason for this choice was that the cutscenes were not created solely for dramatic effect, but they also played a role in conveying gameplay-relevant information to the player. Each scene was carefully crafted with the purpose in mind. Retro demonstrated exceptional professionalism and fully adhered to this direction. So very interesting. This so that visual novel that is coming out. I don't know if some people have gotten their hands on it, or there's these different interviews going around. Like I saw some stuff, I believe, from Stealth tweeting out about like how there were meetings with Nintendo between Retro and Nintendo that would start in the morning and end at sundown because they could not come to agreements on Meta Ridley. Like they even had a hard time pitching Metroid Prime to begin with. They were like, please try it before you say no. It's basically how the conversations went. And so it's really cool to see some of this information coming out, because these decisions aren't made lightly. To take a game that has been 2D for years and then turn it into 3D, and to trust essentially an outside studio with your IP. I know that there were conversations. I've seen some videos and done a little bit of research, but like there were things with Metroid Prime 2 that I believe the original creator of Metroid, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing here, so it's not gospel necessarily. I'm just kind of going off of memory. But essentially it was like hey, don't mess too much with my baby. And so they had to make some creative decisions that were not necessarily what they wanted to do, and had to go and start creating some of their own lore, from my understanding. So uh Nate is asking, do we get a ball pit review? I will pick it up today, and I will mention it. I will do I will do an indie show tomorrow. So I'll be talking about it tomorrow for sure. He also said, I know there's nothing out to play, but yo, I've been going so hard on content that like the last 2 days I've hardly played anything. I've hardly played anything. I'm trying to get my Mario Kart practice in, trying to finish up Pokemon Legends ZA, as well as try a handful of these indies that are out, because there's a lot. And it's been it's been brutal, but I'm having a blast. So and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Make sure to let me know, because I've really settled in on what the direction of the YouTube channel and the podcasts, and I'm having a really good time with it. Really good time with it. Moving on here, Metroid Prime 3, Metroid Prime 1 through 3 art book somehow teases and debunks an Echoes remake. Okay, so looking at the article from Nintendo Life, I do see Army Life is here. What's going on? Welcome on in. It says the upcoming Metroid Prime 1 through 3, a visual retrospective art book, delves into a heck of a lot of information from the original trilogy, primarily from notes provided by longtime producer Kensuke Tanabe. Fans have been speculating about the prospect of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes remaster remake for quite some time now. And interestingly, the book actually somehow teases and debunks such a concept in one go. The following quote from Tanabe regarding Echo's multiplayer mode seemingly confirms that a remake isn't in development and nor is it currently being planned, but at the same time, it kind of reads like a bit of a tease, right? So here's the quote. It says Retro completed the multiplayer mode without compromising on quality, even under such challenging conditions. Being of its time, it was designed for local play. So the number of players who actually experienced it might not have been very large. If it is remade, I would be delighted for more people to have a chance to experience it. What? What is he saying right here? Also, are we getting multiplayer in Metroid Prime 4? Like, please. I hope we are getting some multiplayer in Metroid Prime 4. The article says, gosh, who knows? Either way, it seems likely at this point we won't be seeing anything of the sort until after the launch of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which drops on the 4th of December. Oh, man. Just toying with us. Toying with our emotions. If you guys are like me and you want, like, look, our main topic tonight is going to be NSO, Luigi's Mansion, and one of the things Luigi's Mansion does when it makes its way to Switch, or at least Switch 2, completes that series being on the Switch. We have access to all three games. There is nothing I want more than to have the Switch 2 be the system that we get these complete series of games and that we get to play every game in the series, no matter the system that it was on, right? This most definitely includes Metroid Prime 1 through 3. I would even take Other M and Federation Force just to have the entire Metroid collection. Let's not forget Hunters, as well as I think there's a pinball game on DS as well. So any and all Metroid, I'm here for and would love to see. That being said, what a tease. I can't believe, if it is remade, what if it is remade, come on now. There are rumors out there. I believe it was on Attack the Backlog show, or it might have been Nate DeHate. I don't have it in front of me right now, but basically saying expect a lot of Metroid. Expect a lot of Metroid. So who knows? There's a very real possibility that we are going to be getting a Metroid centric direct in the very near future. And with that, it may not be strictly Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We may get information about these other two remakes, and maybe they're coming out, you know, uh, first or second quarter next year. We'll just have to wait and see. But based on that, the leaked information, we may be seeing more Metroid than just Prime 4 Beyond, and I'm here for it. I am so here for it. Okay, well, we have this Kirby Direct tomorrow. Sakurai reveals even more Kirby Air Riders footage ahead of tomorrow's Direct. And there is a tweet from Kirby Air Riders saying, looking for some Kirby Air Riders content while you wait for the second Direct? Watch Mr. Sakurai play through Steam Gust Forge in this course overview. The Steam Gust Forge music is already available on Nintendo Music, but now you get to see everything. Take a look. I'm going to go ahead and play this here real quick. It's just again, it does get me excited. It does get me excited. Like when I played this at PAX, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I was more ready for Pokemon just because that game really pulled me in for some reason. And so now that I've been playing that and getting my time with it, I'm ready for some Air Riders, and I hope a handful of people in the community pick it up because I think we're going to be able to have some fun, especially on stream. It has the potential to be a really fun community and stream game on top of just local multiplayer as well. So it looks like we're seeing some pretty killer shortcuts from Sakurai as he's playing through this. So if you hadn't had a chance to go and watch that, I highly suggest checking it out, especially if you're kind of on the fence with this one. Like all the more you see of it, the better. I'm of the mind that we are going to see a beta and or a demo for this game very soon. That's what I think that's going to be part of this direct tomorrow is that there will be a beta that gets announced because they just so they can maybe do some fine tweaks, some fine tuning on the game prior to launch, see how the servers are going to hold up and everything. And the best thing for this game is to let people try it. I like didn't know what to expect or if I would like it until I played it. After I played it, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely a quality Nintendo game, no question. It just doesn't show that well. So just keep that in mind. If there is some kind of a beta, make sure to be part of it. And we know how betas work with Nintendo, especially if it's like Splatoon. It's going to end up being at some really weird time of the day or something like that. So just keep that in mind. You might have to set some alarms or who knows because they
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
As a contractor, I don't pay for materials I don't use. So why would I pay for stuff I don't need in my mobile plan? That's why the new MyBiz plan from Verizon Business is so perfect. Now I can choose exactly what I want, and I only pay for what I need.
Right now, with MyBiz plan, get our best price, as low as $25 a line. Visit Verizon.com/business to get started today. New lines only. Price per month with 5+ lines. Includes autopay and paper-free billing and promotional discount. Taxes, fees, economic adjustment charge. Applicable add-ons, prices, and terms apply. Guarantee applies to base monthly rate and stated discounts only. Add-on prices additional. Offers end September 30th, 2025.
they do tend to do some things a little bit strange. Moving on to the news here, No Man's Sky breach update gets spooky with new explorable shipwrecks. Their little tag on Nintendo Life here says, "Oh no!" I love it. Nice little pun. It says, "Hello Games back with yet another update for No Man's Sky. This one feels suitably spooky. It's the season after all. The big addition in today's breach update is a series of space wrecks that pop up across the universe, all of which are fully explorable, using a newly added space walking abilities. You'll be able to dive into these wrecks and salvage parts for your ship, which, let's not forget, can now be customized thanks to recent Voyager's update. This is also a new expedition launching alongside this update, which will have you playing Space Sherlock to work out what happened to a mysterious wreck. This mission will lead you to the edge of space through rare purple star solar systems to more ship parts, probably. So I've never played No Man's Sky. It's been one of those games that's been fun to watch, like even from the get go. That it kind of had a little bit of a rough start, and then it seemed to pick itself up and really end up turning out something that was awesome. I know there is a very, very active community in this game, and it's one of those games that looks so big and so vast that I'm just like, I know I will not be able to put the time into it. There's been a number of times, especially when Switch 2 dropped, that I was like, okay, is this now the time that I'm gonna finally give this game a go, and almost pulled the trigger, but I'm scared. I'm scared that it's I can't have anything else like really pull me in right now. Like there's not enough time in the day for all of the games that are out there. So but I am stoked for this community that anybody that's still playing it is getting new content. This idea of checking out wrecked ships honestly seems really cool, and I love to see this game still getting support. So Charles Hart says saw Cosmic Invasion is 30 on the eShop. Hadn't seen or heard of it. Heard of its digital only or have a physical copy. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound physical costs more than digital, and got the 60 FPS update. Yeah, I'm not. It seems to be the way things are going with these indie games is that they are coming out digitally first and then coming out physical later, either uh, limited run or one of those other distributors. So I'm not sure on Cosmic Invasion on how they're going to do it. And I also don't know exactly how it's going to be running, the difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2, but hopefully we'll get some of that news soon. I will be picking it up day one and letting you guys know my thoughts on it, of course. And yeah, and as far as physical goes, it's hard to say. My gut feeling is when it does finally launch, though, it'll be a physical on Switch and then potentially a key card on Switch 2 if that ends up being a thing. And so I know that's also a frustrating topic for people as well. So we'll just have to wait and see what direction they end up going with that one. Donkey Kong Bonanza has been updated to version 2.0.2. And we got the full patch notes. Are you guys ready? You guys ready? Fix the issue causing Pauline's voice not to play at times when acquiring a fossil. And several other changes have been made and issues addressed to improve the gameplay experience. Oh, there you go. There's the entire list of patch notes for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Of course, we're going to be jumping into some monthly events with Bonanza here very soon, as we talked about yesterday. Well, it's time to get into the main topic, and we're going to be heading on over to this segment with the GameCube sound. So we got a new GameCube game coming to NSO. All right. Well, Luigi's Mansion got announced yesterday, coming to Nintendo Switch Online via on Switch 2, because that's the only place you can get the GameCube games. And I'm excited to see this one. I've never played this one. I hear it's very short, so that excites me. Maybe something I can complete in like one or two sittings, and which would be fantastic. Honestly, I've never completed a single Luigi's Mansion game. I'm like 3/4 of the way through 2 and 3, one on my 3DS and the other on Switch, of course. Now we're gonna see the first game making its way. I need to maybe I'll set a goal this year that I'll have all 3 complete before the end of the year. All right, you guys heard it here first. You got to hold me to it. Maybe I need to have them all complete this month. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll complete Pokemon. We'll keep playing Mario Kart, and try to finish some of these other games as well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I am looking forward to this one. I know a lot of people really really love it. Some people said, the peak is finally here. Like this is their favorite. Other people love 3, and then 2 doesn't really get as much love. 2 I find interesting. I feel like it was loved up until 3 came out, and then like the narrative changed on it. That's at least what it I kind of remember. I mean, obviously it's been years, and I don't know how much I was involved in the space during the launch of the second Luigi's Mansion. I just can't remember. I know I played it, and I would like leave it and then come back to it, but and I did that multiple times. So I do have it on my Switch. So it's one I should probably get back to, but I need to finish 3 first. I'm very close on that one. And every time I play 3, I absolutely adore it. Like I just love it. It's so good. So good. So that is a must finish here very soon. But let's talk about NSO. We're in October. And if you guys are like me, your membership is coming up for renewal the end of this month. I I've got the two family memberships, and it seems like in years past that October seems to be the time they kind of sweeten the deal a bit. That they put some new games out and try to keep us in the ecosystem. And so when you think about NSO and chat, by all means, I'm going to want your feedback on this one. What games do you guys feel like have been missing for way too long, and you just wonder like what is going on here? What is going on here? And I know if you guys are watching the gameplay right now on the for the B-roll, you're seeing Smash. Where is Smash 64? And how long will we have to wait for Melee? And is Melee something they will do? Are they holding back on these because of the Smash scene? Like why aren't Smash games getting released? They would get played, I think. I think probably more than most. I think Smash games, Melee and 64 would get quite a bit of playtime on NSO. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of times the majority of us see a game is on NSO and we're like, okay, like cool, glad it's here. Might pick it up periodically and play a little bit of it, whatever. I feel like the Smash games would get played. They'd get played quite a bit. So those are some of the big ones. Those are the big ones when it comes to NSO that we're missing. If you guys have any on the, off the top of your head, let me know. I want to hear what you guys really want to see on NSO. A lot of posts I saw on the Luigi's Mansion post were put Sunshine on NSO as well, because there are people out there that don't have a way to play Sunshine currently unless they want to go and spend, $110 on the Mario 3D All-Stars at like GameStop or eBay or whatever the case may be. And so those aren't readily available. And so Sunshine is another one that seems like a no-brainer, that it should be there sooner than later. But it does kind of seem like these games don't come out as quickly as we may hope or like. And I don't know. I feel like it would be nice if there was somewhat of a roadmap, even a few days, a few days or a few like a year in advance of like, hey, here's the calendar. Like, I feel like it could be beneficial even to their sales to have a better, just a better understanding of what's coming out. It seems so sporadic right now, and then it is. Don't get me wrong, it's super cool when we get games that have only been in Japan and now we get to play them here. But I do think there's a lot of heavy hitters that still need to be put on NSO, and we know they've been able to broker deals with Microsoft and other companies as well, Capcom, Konami. I think they need to do some deals with Star Wars, with Disney. Let's get Rogue Squadron, all of them, on NSO. Those games hold up to this day, and I would still play them. So I see Liberation is here. What's going on? Good to see you. Hope things are well. But those are fantastic games. I know, and we talked about this not too long ago. WWE or WWF, No Mercy, WCW versus NWO, Revenge. Maybe that would be the one that they could do, because it's not WWF and WWE, and all that nonsense. That would be like, if Nintendo could get that deal. Like, do you know how much time would get put into WCW versus NWO? That is another one that, like, it's one of the best, if not the best, wrestling game ever made. Like, so good. And don't get me wrong, No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000, both fantastic games as well. Same engine, right? I have a thing for WCW versus NWO. Like, I played so much of it and just find it to be so good. So Yeah, Liberation said, OMG, that was great back in the day. Yes, absolutely. So good. And so, but even, we saw Donkey Kong Bonanza come out, and a lot of people anticipated that we would see Donkey Kong 64 make its way to NSO. But no such luck. No such luck. And there's a Super Nintendo game called UN Squadron, I believe. Fantastic, like side-scrolling shooter. Where is it? Pokemon fan says, do you think we get Pokemon Coliseum? That one I know we get at some point because it was in the preview, and there are a handful of, I think Sunshine was even in the preview, right? So, or Gale of Darkness this year on the GameCube NSO. I think any kind of side games are definitely a possibility when it comes to Pokemon. So, but I feel like there's plenty of games that I mean, I kind of get, like, it gives them a bit of a news cycle and a hype cycle when they announce them, but like they're giving the impression that GameCube games are going to be like few and far between, and only like one at a time, right? Because we got Strikers, we got Chibi Robo, and now we're getting Luigi's Mansion on top of the 3 that are already there, which, Wind Waker, Soul Calibur, and F-Zero. So it's a stellar library. I don't want it to come across like it's not stellar. I just think there's, like, we're definitely ready for a little bit of a bigger release, and some of those Pokemon games would be great additions. I know a lot of people would love that. There's more Zelda titles with Twilight Princess. That being said, I would want to play the HD remake of that, and not the GameCube version if given the possibility. But at the very least, if we could play the GameCube version, at least it's there. That's one of the few Zeldas that I have not played to completion. So Liberation says, give us another story arc for Star Fox. Yes, anything Star Fox, please, more Star Fox. But even GameCube Star Fox games, there's, they're a little hit or miss, but they're still there. And they could be brought over as well. And so I would, and what I would love to see, honestly, and I know it'd be asking for a lot, but if they brokered a deal with Disney to get the classic games over on NSO, you're not talking about just 64 and GameCube games. You're talking about all the way to the NES. The NES had Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. Weren't fantastic, but still kind of fun to be able to go back and check them out and just see what they were able to do back then.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. What do you bring to a holiday party? Simple. A bottle of Casamigos. Because nothing gets the party started like a Casamigos margarita, which isn't just for summer. In fact, it's the perfect pour all year round. Casamigos is the gift that always feels right. Because anything goes with my Casamigos. Please drink responsibly. Imported by Casamigos Spirits Company, White Plains, New York. Casamigos Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume.
Okay, Chad. Today you're gonna drive the all-electric Toyota BZ.
But my electric vehicle phobia. I'm not ready, Dr. Ross.
I believe in you.
Oh my gosh. We're inside it.
Try to take deep breaths, okay?
The ventilated seats, they're touching me.
You can do this, Chad. Drive the car. How do you feel, Chad?
I feel cured. Woohoo! I'm doing it! I'm doing it!
The all-electric BZ. One drive can change your mind. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome to Sephora. I'm looking for a perfume that's not too perfumey. I got you.
Serum moisturizer or moisturizer serum.
Let's get into layering.
My concealer is making me look worse.
Sounds like the wrong shade. Let's get you matched.
There's only one store that really gets what you're going for. Get beauty from people who get beauty. Only at Sephora.
Hi, Let's get you a basket.
But then you get into the Super Nintendo era of Star Wars games. Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, and Super Return of the Jedi. Absolutely fantastic games. Like, so good. So good. I can't express to you how, and I remember it was much later in life that I the 64, even the GameCube may have been out. I don't remember exactly, but I was like, I want to play through all the Super Star Wars games, and I picked them all up and played through all of them. And not, they're not easy games. They were ones that you would rent and you were like, yo, this game is no joke, especially the first two. I think they made the difficulty of Super Empire Strikes Back a little bit, or Return of the Jedi a little bit easier. But it was just so fun experiencing those worlds in 16-bit. Like it was so fun. And there were times that you're like, yo, this is way off from like what the actual movie is, and they had to use some creative freedom to make things work and put bosses in the game that you're like, what is this? It's not even close to something that we've seen in Star Wars. But there's so many fantastic games. And 64 Star Wars, you're talking about Rogue Squadron, you're talking about Shadows of the Empire, you're talking about the Battle for Naboo. Like there are, and a Pod Racer as well. So there's a handful there that would be a lot of fun to revisit. And so hopefully we see something like that. When it comes to GameCube games, there's a lot of Star Wars games. There's so many, not just the exclusive GameCube games, but there was a lot of Star Wars games getting made during that generation. And some were fantastic. So Cryptic says, I like the theme of getting Luigi's Mansion during the Halloween season. It's also why I find it odd that Kirby Air Riders GameCube wasn't released to get people hyped for the new one, unless it's more of the same. I would say there's a chance tomorrow that happens. Maybe it's out now, since Luigi's Mansion is getting pushed. Maybe Kirby Air Riders for GameCube comes out tomorrow. It's October, right? And so I do think they're always trying to sweeten the deal, like I said at the beginning of the segment. And maybe that happens. Maybe part of the direct tomorrow is a brief look at the first game, and you can play it now. Or I'm wondering, they could kind of go two directions potentially. They could say that game's out now, or the beta for Air Riders is out, and they're going to just focus strictly on that. And maybe they at the very least announce the first game. But I don't hold any weight any longer to like, oh, this game could be on NSO prior to this game launching, after we saw nothing with Donkey Kong 64. Nothing with Donkey Kong 64 before Bonanza. Because again, how many people said, if 64 came out, it'd be great to have that in NSO, even though it's only loved by a very, very small number of people. Still not here yet, which is kind of crazy. So I want to backtrack just a little bit here. Pokemon fan says we need Mario Kart and the parties too. Yes, absolutely. Mario Kart Double Dash has the potential to be kind of big when it comes to Mario Kart. Like that would probably be a game that I would pick up and play with the community, we can do like 16 players, and it's like one person drives and the other person throws items. It could be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So it is strange. And then the Mario Party games, and the Mario Party games, if you think about them on GameCube, one of the things you needed with the GameCube games was the microphone. Well, what's back with Switch 2? Microphone. It is here, and it makes those games possible to play without even needing another accessory. It's just available. So that's super cool as well. Let's see here. Want to take a look. Pokemon fan says, I feel Sunshine should be the last of the 4 that were shown. Yeah, it'll probably be because like you're saying, it's kind of accessible to some people. I mean, I'm playing it right now, but I picked up the 3D All Stars when it was there, so and then Cryptic saying the Metroid Prime games. Yep, yeah, and we did get Prime remastered, so it's we the thing is, I don't know if they will release Prime on the GameCube because that remaster is sitting out there. Maybe they do. I mean, they released 64, but that was after they pulled 64 off of 3D All Stars. Like you could no longer get it. If I'm remembering correctly, when they finally announced the 64 games, I think that is I think that's the case. There's just so many. There's so much to try to remember, but I do believe that was the case. Is after 3D All Stars, that's when they came out with the 64 games on NSO, and we got to see Mario 64 again, or yet again. So I don't know how they handle that. Also, the same with Wind Waker. Does the existence of Wind Waker on NSO mean that we will never see the Wind Waker HD remake? And again, I hope I hope that's not the case. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I feel like a handful of the systems they've done a really, really good job with, and I mean, at the end of the day, there's a ton on there to play. Like if you didn't have much as far as mainline Switch 2 games and you just wanted to dig into the history of Nintendo, there's a lot there. There's even some like big RPGs and games like that are that you could sink your teeth into, even the Zelda games and the Metroid games, all that kind of stuff. You've got a handful of really good titles. Mario and Luigi games. There's a lot there. And maybe we're just a bit greedy as Nintendo fans, right? We want our nostalgia and that little nostalgia dopamine hit, and that comes from these games hitting NSO. So Pokemon fan says the other 3 GameCube games were not on Switch. Get them out first. Yes. And no hate for Mario. Oh no, you're not. You're in a safe place. You don't have to worry about it. Like there's just so much that they could release, and it does seem like they go a little bit slow with it. I will say this, as referencing the news earlier about Metroid getting, Metroid Prime 2 being teased that it was being remastered, and then not being remade or whatever, however the quote was, right? Like maybe. Well, based on his quote, though, it seems like it would be more than just the GameCube game put on NSO, because that wouldn't add more players. As far as like, if I read the quote correct, I'm going to go back to it real quick. And it says right here, if it is remade, it would be delighted for more people to have a chance to experience it. So I was kind of taking that as like, oh, maybe they would do a bigger multiplayer, but I don't know why I took it that way. More people experiencing it could mean that they put it on NSO, and then we essentially have online for it. So Cryptic says, I just want collections complete. Smash, DK64, long overdue. Yeah, exactly like we were saying at the beginning of the segment. There are a lot of games that they could complete this. They could complete the series if they release them on NSO. Obviously we've got to get into some other systems. We've got to get to the Wii. We've got to get to the DS and 3DS. And honestly, I think anything is possible at this point. The real trick is going to be to see if we can get some of these the last few Wii U games that are not available yet. One of them being Nintendo Land. If there's any way that they can do that game, which I really hope they can. I literally have my daughter messaging me like, "Can I borrow a Wii U so I can play Nintendo Land?" So that is a game that I know would get some miles if they were able to get it out on Switch 2. But again, they're games that like you kind of have to be able to play off TV while other people are playing on TV. It's just that's the only way it works. So there's going to have to be some crazy magic that takes place in order for that to be a reality. And I don't know if we'll ever get there. I hope so, but I just don't know. I don't know if we will. Pokemon Pen says Pokemon Coliseum and Gale of Darkness fans have been waiting forever. Yeah. Yeah. And then that's the other thing. Why the Virtual Boy? I honestly believe, like, I will say this: the Virtual Boy did not surprise me nearly as much when we saw the Nintendo Museum and the fact that they like had it on display. And even though it was like a commercial failure for them, they still remember that. They still embrace it. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at it, it definitely influenced the controller for the GameCube. You can see that very clearly. And so there are some things that were good takeaways from it, no question. I think my hope is that the Virtual Boy literally shows that they're willing to do any and everything at this point. And because of that, we should see DS, 3DS. I know Mike Odyssey, he's finding all kinds of what are they called? The patents, right? And it's looking like potentially like a DS and 3DS second screen kind of scenario could happen with Switch 2. We know we have the USB-C top and bottom. And so and the fact that they are willing to lock Virtual Boy games behind a piece of cardboard or another peripheral, I hope that doesn't happen with 3DS and DS games, and that you can only play them handheld if you get the secondary device. I kind of doubt that would be the case because they are fairly popular. More popular games. So the Virtual Boy is going to be, very niche, kind of the hardcore, goofy collectors like myself. That it'll be fun having the Virtual Boy on the shelf behind me. It'll be fun getting to experience those games for the first time and at least say that I've played them, even if they're not that great and going to end up giving me a migraine, like Pokemon says. I don't need help getting a migraine. Yeah, exactly. But so hopefully those games aren't locked behind some kind of a peripheral like that, and that we can just play them on screen natively. And from what the patents were showing, that looks like it will be the case. It I would say I hope there is some kind of an update down the road for Virtual Boy that allows the games to just be played natively on TV, because I I can't create any content with those games if if the screen is in the machine. Like I can't capture footage if I can't have the games in the dock. And so to even show them off, record B-roll while you're talking about it, that kind of stuff, not possible unless they make some changes there. Cryptic says, I never owned a Wii U. How did DS work on there? Did it only work when using the gamepad? No. It was actually done very well. My favorite way, I don't know, you may remember streams when I played it, you could put the OG DS on the screen, like it literally filled up the screen, and then, or like kind of filled up the screen, and then it had both screens would have gameplay, and you could see top and bottom, top screen, bottom screen, and that worked very well. Another way was you could put the top screen would be bigger, and then the small screen, like the bottom screen, would be smaller on the side, and that was pretty useful as well. If you take a look at some screenshots of like the Castlevania DS collection, they have some ways of doing it as well. The tricky part does come with games like Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks. If Ninja Gaiden from DS could end up getting onto NSO, if that became a thing, that's a tricky one because you actually held your DS like more like a book, and you used your stylus on one side while controlling the ninja on the other, and that it worked okay, and the game was still stellar. I just got bored of the of being forced into the gimmick, right? So that does make things a little bit more difficult. But we have the mouse, so the mouse makes it very possible to essentially take over stylus controls.
This episode is brought to you by Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 is the ultimate all-out warfare experience. Rip through the skies in aerial dogfights. Demolish your surroundings for a strategic advantage. Harness complete control over every action and movement using the kinesthetic combat system. Drop into multiplayer with your squad, or fight furiously as a member of the Dagger 1-3 squad in a gritty, adrenaline-fueled single-player campaign where you'll defend a world on the edge of collapse.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
This episode is brought to you by Tic Tac. Your boss is going off at you for missing a deadline, and you swear the clock just moved backwards. Suddenly, you remember the pack of Tic Tacs on your desk. Now you're riding horseback on the beach, the smell of citrus in the air. And what's this? Your boss is sitting behind you, breathing heavenly fresh mint. Refresh your mouth and mind, and share your good vibes with Tic Tac.
Every story you love, every invention that moves you, every idea you wished was yours, all began as nothing. Just a blank page with a blinking cursor, asking a simple question. What do you see? Great ideas start on Mac. Find out more on apple.com/Mac.
So I think that opens up a ton of opportunities. It's just a matter of making sure they're not locked on just being able to play them like portable with that second screen, and I think they are going to have to come up with some kind of a stylus solution at some point too, because I just don't know just using your finger on that screen if it's going to be the best option. So yeah, that's that. I mean, the future is looking. It could be very, very cool. Getting DS, 3DS, Wii games, all that kind of stuff. Like, by the time the Switch 2's, by the end of Switch 2's lifespan, we could see, honestly, some just like NSO could be wild. it could be wild. We could see full collections of so many games, and I really do hope that is the case. It's Nintendo Today, where we look at what launched in Nintendo's history and take a look at some classified information like we would find in Nintendo Power. Every morning, I post what's released across my socials and in my Discord, so drop your favorite memories and stories, and I will read some of them right here on the show. Today in Nintendo history, The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, released in Japan on October 22nd, 2015, for the Nintendo 3DS. Developed by Nintendo EPD and Grezzo. It was directed by Hiromasa Shikata and produced by Eiji Aonuma. This was the second original Zelda title for the 3DS, following A Link Between Worlds, and it stood out as a cooperative multiplayer Zelda for 3 players. Not 4 like 4 Swords, and not solo like the most recent of the series. It sold more than 1.36 million copies worldwide and received mixed reviews. Praised for its style, humor, and teamwork mechanics, but criticized for the limited single-player depth and online matchmaking issues. Did you know? Triforce Heroes was inspired by a short sequence in Spirit Tracks where Zelda could possess phantoms. Director Hiromasa Shikata said that the idea revitalized his interest in creating a multiplayer Zelda adventure. So I have to be honest, this is not a game that I have spent much time with. I picked it up to add to my 3DS collection, but only played it for a very, very short amount of time, to the point that I don't even really remember playing it at all. Now, let's learn more about this game. In Triforce Heroes, the same version of Link from A Link Between Worlds is summoned to the fashion-obsessed kingdom of Hytopia. Princess Styla has been cursed by the Drablands witch, forcing her to wear an unremovable brown jumpsuit, a fashion disaster in a land built around style. To break the curse, 3 Links must join forces, solve puzzles, and conquer themed dungeons in the Drablands. I gotta say that this unremovable brown jumpsuit is something else, and I could completely understand why it is a fashion disaster. The gameplay revolves around teamwork and coordination. Players use the totem mechanic to stack the 3 links and reach new heights or trigger puzzles that rely on vertical depth, something rarely seen in earlier handheld Zeldas. Outfits play a major role. The Goron garb resists lava, the Kokiri clothes boost arrows, and the Zelda dress increases heart drops. Director Hiromasa Shikata originally wanted Triforce Heroes to be multiplayer only, but producer Eiji Aonuma insisted in adding a single-player option. Shikata later admitted that leaving it out would have been a huge mistake. The art direction, led by Keisuke Umeda, and the soundtrack by Ryu Nagatamatsu leaned into playful, fashion show energy instead of the series' usual fantasy tone. And the game's development partnered Nintendo EPD with Grezzo, the studio behind the Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D. Shikata later said that he wanted the story to focus on cooperation over rivalry, reflecting that his belief that multiplayer Zelda should feel like friends helping each other through puzzles, not competing. Now it's time for some classified information. Triforce Heroes uses the same engine as A Link Between Worlds, but every dungeon was redesigned around co-op play. The team took inspiration from the 1996 Super Famicom title Marvelous Another Treasure Island, an early Aonuma project centered on multi-character puzzle solving. Although it takes place after A Link Between Worlds, Nintendo places Triforce Heroes in an alternate timeline branch, separate from the main continuity. Now it's time for the game tip. Originally, Triforce Heroes supported online multiplayer through the Nintendo 3DS servers, but those servers were shut down in 2024. You can still enjoy the full adventure today through local wireless with up to 3 systems, or by using the single-player Doppels mode, where you can control all 3 links yourself. It's the best way to experience those clever totem puzzles and unique outfits now. Taking a look at what the community says about this game, Jedi says it's such a fun game, and I would play this with friends on the school bus. Over on X, Stu said this one surprised me. It seemed designed to be played with yourself and 2 friends. I did that some, but I had way more fun playing it solo. You can play it solo, controlling all 3 characters. That was surprisingly fun. I ended up 100% completing it that way and had a blast. I've had a few other people reply with some not so positive remarks. One of them being Metroid Mike 64 says, I played it, but quickly turned it off. Not my cup of tea. And some of the other comments asked not to be shown in the video or read in the video, so I'm going to leave it at that, but they were not too positive either. I need to jump into this game a little bit more to really give an opinion on it. While I haven't put a lot of time into Triforce Heroes, I do like the idea of Nintendo doing a multiplayer Zelda with the characters from Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom. That art style, putting Link and Zelda together for the first time with puzzles that are dependent on each of their powers, I think would be a lot of fun. Did you ever play Triforce Heroes? Would you want to see Nintendo try another multiplayer Zelda? Let me know in the comments below, and that's going to do it for Nintendo Today. Thanks for watching, and remember, play it loud.